Hi, welcome to the last day of ISE 2011, and I'm sitting here with the director of ISE. This is Mike Blackman. And Mike, we good to see you again this year, Mike. We know, we can feel that ISE has been a real pleasure and an exciting show this year, but we want to quantify that a little bit. And as you know, there are three metrics that we always ask about for trade shows: number of exhibitors, number of square foot or meters, and also the number of attendees. Maybe you can tell us, what does the ISE 2011 look like now from your point of view?
Okay. Bob, we've had a fantastic show. Sales were phenomenal in terms of exhibit space. We were actually sold out in October, which we never achieved before. We had a waiting list of about 20 companies. We took some additional space and were able to actually accommodate that. And in the end, we ended up with 715 companies exhibiting this year, which is a 20% increase on the previous year.
Good number.
So that for us is a great success. We had over 50 exhibitors from China, so again a big increase from Asia here, and many of our exhibitors from last year took larger booths to cope with the attendance that we're getting here.
And you did a lot of good initiatives this year, and I know that you lined up a couple industry segments. Talk to us about how they went, the digital signage area, for example.
Well, digital signage is a sector that we always took and paid a lot of attention to. And we actually had our first digital signage presence here at the RAI at the second ISE. And in fact, we put in a small system together with Sony of about 20 screens. The result was the RAI themselves looked at it and they said, should we be doing that? We said, yes, of course we would use it if you did. Result is now one of the largest digital signage indoor digital signage systems in Europe, with over 700 screens, and we use it to actually promote the exhibitions to our attendees. What's happened, on top of that, making a conference on digital signage, where we had almost 200 attendees and almost 2 halls of digital signage exhibits at the show.
A very significant area for the Pro AV business.
Absolutely, and you're also seeing some residential installers getting into that sector as well.
Now, we've had a lot of people remark about the success, and what they've whispered about are all things that about adding extra halls or adding extra days. What's in the future for ISE, Mike?
Well, the future for ISE is one thing: we have to accommodate the more exhibits that we get. So the bigger we get, the more attention we draw, not only to attendees, but more exhibitors. So what we're already seeing, rebooking is going on at the moment. We'll be finished in a couple of hours with most exhibits. We expect to be in excess of 80 to 90% of our existing, of our new space actually contracted. So we'll run out of space very, very quickly. So yes, you will see a new hall next year. We're extending to Hall 7. So that will add a substantial amount to the total exhibit space. We have some new sectors of the show that we'll be promoting as well. Those I'd like to tell you about another time, but
okay.
You'll see new things at ISE next year as well.
We have irons in the fire.
Yes.
And is there any one theme that you'd like to underline this year's, now that we've come to the end of this year's ISE 2011, anything that strikes you as something that would characterize this ISE from the other ISEs?
Well, I think what is phenomenal this year is the increase in attendance, and so many companies are so euphoric about their success here. I spoke to one display manufacturer who told me that they actually had 70 employees on the booth yesterday, and constantly these guys had people waiting for them the whole day. They didn't get breaks. They just had to keep meeting with customers, and that's a successful event when we hear that our exhibitors are doing extremely well and meeting the right sort of people.
Well, you'll be pleased to watch our videos, because the last exhibitor we interviewed just said the difference between this year and last year is last year they had a lot of people come and look at the product and talk about the product, and that was great. But this year, everybody's getting down to prices, when can you deliver, and it was more, they felt that the economic upturn has caught up to it, and they were very pleased. So
that's definitely the case, and I think ISE is now becoming a barometer for the industry. It's showing how the AV industry and AV and systems integration industry is looking in Europe, and people from the outside can look at this show and say, well, that's going well, the industry's going well.
Exactly. And Mike, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be part of the barometer, and we're looking forward to ISE 2012 now.
Well, the key factor I think which you really want to know is how many attendees are we going to have.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
What I don't have the final figure, but I know we're running at least 24% ahead. So I think at the end we'll probably end up between 34 and 35,000 people. We had 28,000 last year, so there's a substantial
increase given the nature of things. That's wonderful. Almost 35,000.
Almost.
All right. Thank you, Mike. From the floor of ISE here at the IP Pavilion, that's it for 2011.